Hello everybody and welcome to the next episode of At Home with the Moons.
Coming from the beautiful Limousin department in France, where our beautiful home is situated.
So this is a 19th century farmhouse known as a traditional barn here in France, and once upon a time it housed 4 families and it was part of a much larger estate. The estate house is still here, just over the brow of the hill there, and there's actually an old bridge that takes us from here to there.
Yes, and there's lots of history, and that's going to unravel as the episodes go on. But today we're focusing on what is now, well, it's a salon, it's our relaxing area, but it used to be the kitchen, the main heart of the house.
So last week we touched on it in the pilot episode, and you got to see the fireplace and the larder and the doors, but we're going to go into a little bit more in depth now, and hidden in there is a little secret that we found when we moved in, and yeah, it's very, very cool. So come with us and we'll go and have a look.
Let's go. So here we are in what was the heart of the house. It's the kitchen, and as we said before, it's now the salon where we sit down, we have the sofas and we've got the telly. It's a relaxing area, but that's a far cry from the hustle and bustle and the busyness that used to be in this room. And this forms a massive part of it. It's the beautiful open fireplace, which you can now see. There's a log burner. When we moved in, there was a smaller log burner that was here, and it's been blanked off. It's only just covered, but we believe it was a lot further back than where it is now. The wall you see behind this wall here is just a facade, and as I say, I think it's stepped back a good few feet, and that would have given room for the cauldrons, for the big areas where they hung stuff to be cooked. And it was a completely open, as I said, open fireplace, which went up to this beautiful, they're handmade red bricks, and they go all the way up, that form part of the biggest chimney, or one of the biggest chimneys we have here. And just to the other side we have a room that mirrors this, and it's our workshop area. It's our antique restoration room. It's Jenny's Bear workshop as well, and there's another fireplace, but it's not as grand. It's just a traditional open fireplace it still has a large chimney, but it's definitely not as grand as this, because it didn't need to be. They needed to have this volume, as I say, for feeding of the families, for the people that were here. So let's go and show you another little area in this room.
So just to the side of that big fireplace is this absolutely gorgeous corner cupboard. She's actually a larder. She would have been used for dry storage, for dry goods. And it's been handmade and so perfectly put into this little corner, you wouldn't believe it. When you walk in, you don't see her, because obviously your eyes are drawn straight away to the fireplace. But here she is, and my goodness me, I can't help it. Whenever I look at her, I just sit and I imagine like what she's seen over the years, all of the families, the hustle and bustle, the fun, the celebrations, the arguments, the worry, all of the different things that families go through. This cupboard has sat here and watched, and she truly is a gem, and she's one of those things in the house that, you know, you always have to give a nod to when you walk through here, because the craftsmanship and just The work that's gone into her is quite phenomenal, along with another little special area in this room. So we're going to take you across and show you now.
So behind me is where we believe the old sink used to be, and there is a little bit of evidence on the outside, on the exterior wall, to where the stones just don't marry up, and we think that's where the waste used to go out. But we think it was quite a big construction on top of this plinth. And I'm going to pull the sofa out, and hopefully we don't find too many scaries, and we're going to show you where it used to sit. So we've stirred up a lot of dust from the past, and in an old property like this it just goes with the territory. But in doing that we've exposed this beautiful old solid stone sink, and it's a rebated piece of stone, a single piece of stone. But in doing that, and every time we look at different areas of the house we learn more, and every day is another bit of exploration, because we discovered a hollow underneath which I've never seen before. So maybe at one time or another with you guys we'll open it up and see what we can find underneath, but we don't know what it looked like on top. We've just got this as our evidence of what would have been an essential piece of kitchen equipment. We're outside, and that irregularity that I spoke of in the stonework is these few bricks which have just been placed here, and we're thinking that's where the waste came out of, and it would have been a slightly bigger hole. And the veranda or patio that I'm sitting on is a lot higher than the original level, so it could look a lot different underneath, but we'll never know. But what we can see is something a little bit different. So this is the opening above what we believe to be the kitchen sink, and that's down below where we've just seen where we think the waste came out. And above you can see there's this kind of strange bit with some wood in there and a few stones poked in, and that could have been a vent or some kind of exit point from it within the kitchen. And above you can see the beautiful handmade bricks which aren't actually forming any structural purpose, and we can only assume that these stone lintels are the structure and they are just decorative, and that would have been a status symbol. That would have been someone saying, look, I've got a beautiful barn, but I've also got a bit of money. So maybe there is that bit where it's just a little bit of fanciness. They do look really nice, as I say, but they don't form any structural element. So it's just really down to these beautiful pieces of stone to keep it all where it should be. We're out the front of the property, and this is what you're met with when you come down the drive. It is our beautiful kitchen, which once were the piggeries. We have 4 doors, 2 on either side, and we've got the main door which would have allowed access for the farmer or the families. And we think that it was at one time completely separate from the main house or the big barn, and that's because there's just little telltale signs, and there's a little opening or which is now a window, which we think was an exterior doorway. What that means is, the exciting bit, at one time or another they joined it on and then they built that beautiful bread oven, but that's for another day. I'm going to take you around now and show you the smoking house, and it's just another part of the practicalities of this magnificent place. And under here, this is the doorway to the smokery or the smokehouse, and it's another very practical element or part to the house, along with what is underneath, the beautiful bread oven. And as I say, we're going to touch more on that in future episodes, but it's really exciting to see how it evolved and to learn along with you guys as we explore all these nooks and crannies, which are just revealing more and more the further we go. So we're by the opening at the side of the kitchen. It's a newer opening, and when we came here we obviously noticed the well, and it's a beautiful handmade well, and that's going to be coming up in future episodes because it's definitely worthy of, well, a whole story on its own. It's fantastic. But what we noticed was on these bricks, someone has inscribed or written on the bricks the years and the meter readings. And we've got 1984 and 1985, and it does go back a little before that. And that means that I think it was quite recently in the history of the house that it was connected up to the mains water, because before that it was just down to the well to provide everything for the house and for the farm. I've just had a prompting from a certain little someone who's reminded me it's time to go to the annual donkey fair. And when we get back, I'm going to take you down to the cellar. But in the meantime, let's go and have some fun. kitchen, and as you can see, the walls are very smooth. It's been plasterboarded, which is a modern addition. But just on the other side of this wall, there are these beautiful handmade bricks. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek because that is on the way down to the cellar. We're working our way down to the very bottom of the property, to the beautiful cellar. But here beside me are these wonderful handmade bricks. And on every one you can see just where they've been touched. There's those little fingerprints, just a nod to the past. And on the other side is our antique restoration room, or the workshop, the Bear Workshop, Jenny's room, whatever you want to call it. And what we did, we took off the plasterboard and revealed a whole wall full of these beautiful bricks. And as we go on our journey together, we're going to just uncover a little bit more. And as I say, it's just going to be more of a restoration. It's not a renovation. We're going to try and get it back to as it was in times gone by. And you're going to be with us on that journey. And the next time you see us, we're going to be heading further down into the depths of the cellar.
So there you have it. The second episode of At Home with the Moons.
Yeah, and we hope you enjoyed it. It's just going to be such a fantastic journey to share with you the family and the adventures and unfold the history of our beautiful home.
Yep, indeed. And to make it simple and to make it easy to follow, each episode is going to be episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. So when you know where you've got up to, you can then go on to the next one. And we're going to try and keep it simple so people can follow, because we are aware it's a big place. There's lots going on and there's lots to be uncovered. You know, we haven't even touched on the land and the fields and the bridges and the whatever it is in the middle of the field. So
and those trolls hiding down at the bridge there.
Yeah, there's so much going on here and we can't wait to share it with you. So to keep it as simple as possible, as we say, episode 1, episode 2, you're on episode 2 and we're looking forward to creating episode 3.
And that's going to be next week. But in the meantime, yes, there's a lot of history here to share with you guys. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and definitely hit that little notification button, because it just lets you know and you're not going to miss the next instalment.
So we shall say, see you soon, stay magical.
All of that next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.